Worth a panel. Here now we have Aaron Elmore, former Trump campaign surrogate and former apprentice contestant, and Blake Rutherford, a Democratic strategist. Good to see you both. Aaron, there are really two questions on the whole Russian issue. First of all, did President Obama's team spy on Trump's team? That's number one. Number two is, did the Trump team conspire with Putin in Russia? Now, on which of these questions have we gathered more evidence?
Well, the former, not the latter. I always love a two-pronged question. But what Ms. Rice did here is so much worse than anything that General Flynn did. She's going to be in hot water. This is a situation that she's going to have to obtain lawyers. She wanted to unmask people that were working on the Trump transition team and seeing who they were having conversations with outside of the United States. This is not for national security purposes. This is a politically motivated endeavor. And to say this is not Barack Obama related, she's worked for Barack Obama.
Well, she didn't respond.
Maybe Trump's allegations aren't that.
Yeah, she didn't respond today, but on March 22nd, Blake, she was on PBS, and she was asked specifically about the unmasking charges of Nunes. She was asked by Judy Woodruff, I began by asking about the allegations leveled today by House Intel Committee Chairman Devin Nunes that Trump transition officials, including the president, may have been swept up in surveillance of foreigners at the end of the Obama administration. Here's how she answered, Blake.
I know nothing about this. I was surprised to see reports from Chairman Nunes on that count.
Now, if the story today is true, isn't her denial on March 22nd a lie?
Well, I don't think we're in a position yet to characterize that. We should wait and hear from her. But I want to go back to your two-pronged question.
Sure, go ahead.
We certainly know that the president's allegations that President Obama spied on him are absolutely false. We have multiple agencies who've reached that conclusion. What we don't yet know is the answer to question number two, which is far more troubling, which was whether there was collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians. We're going to have a Senate investigation.
Everybody who's answered that question already has said there is no collusion, all the intel officials, et cetera.
That's not right. We haven't even begun. The Senate Intelligence Committee is just beginning its work.
We've had them on. Forgive me for interrupting, but we've had them on Fox News and Fox Business. We've asked them point blank, is there any evidence of collusion between Trump and Russia? And their answer is always no. There's no evidence right now. There may be in the future, but none right now.
We wouldn't have the need for the investigation. We also wouldn't have the need for the Trump administration to call for an investigation if that were right.
There is
so we're going to have the Senate look into this.
There's
we're going to have the House look into it as we should.
But again, Aaron, back to you. The question is whether there is fire. And so far, the only fire that we've seen, and I think if the story again today is true, that Susan Rice was responsible for unmasking some of these names, that means that what she said back on March 22nd is not true when she said, I had no idea about this unmasking.
So we caught her in a lie. It certainly seems that way. Don't forget that Susan Rice is the person behind that whole Benghazi scheme, that it was just an unruly crowd that was responding to a video. She doesn't really have the best reputation for truth and honesty here. So we're not exactly dealing with someone that's been honest. And to say that Barack Obama himself did not wiretap President Trump, these are his officials. It's part and parcel for the organization.
All right, Blake.
This was not a wiretap. This was not a wiretap. These were Trump officials caught up in incidental conversations with Russian officials. They were not the target.
And we should say that even if Ms. Rice,
they were on the phone with people
Blake,
who were targeted.
Hold on a second.
In their
even
surveillance.
if Dr. Rice did lie when she was responding to the PBS interviewer, that isn't necessarily illegal. I just put that out there. But the fact is that it is suspect, is it not, Blake?
Well, look, let's remember, we're talking about a former administration official. We're not talking about the issue. The issue here.
But wait a minute, does that make it any better that she's now a former official because she was working for the President of the United States when she asked for the unmasking, if this story is true?
Well, remember, there is a lot that we need to know about why Trump campaign officials were talking with Russian officials during the campaign. Unmasking is something that provides the intelligence
You're making a leap that hasn't been made yet, Aaron. Aaron, the fact is that this information was between foreigners. It wasn't between a foreigner and a U.S. official. It was gossip that was captured by intel officials between two foreigners about somebody in the Trump administration.
Precisely. This isn't necessarily anything to do with Russia, quite frankly. And also, you said that lying in and of itself by Dr. Rice is not a crime. If she were under oath, let's say, we would call that perjury.
Yeah.
So saying that she's we have to be careful here because, of course, they're not being careful. They're being quite careless. And for her to lie just a few weeks ago, this really doesn't bode very well for them personally.
Okay, we got to go. But I should mention that being interviewed by PBS does not require taking an oath. I just want to put that out there.
I think that's an important, a very
Thank you very
important
much, gang. Appreciate it, Melissa.